Yeah, so let's do a bit of overview. So we're talking, how can SPOCRA use CIP-0022 to validate pool operators? And there's a number of reasons why you'd want to do that, mainly for things like voting or other things. You'd want to validate that, yes, this person really is a pool operator. So that's kind of the motivation for this whole CIP is, I looked out there and every website known to man used some different weird method for validating pool operators. Pool Tool did it one way, but they also had to validate, end user accounts. So they're going to probably keep that. Ada Pools has you updating custom metadata or extended metadata. So there's kind of a custom solution. There's a lot of different things. There's some new stake pool operator on-chain voting that also has you updating your extended metadata to voice your opinion on different things. But this kind of synthesizes them all into a way that you can use your stake pool operator keys to verify that, yes, you are the same person that registered the pool on the chain. That's really what we're doing is this person, can they prove that they're the person that registered the pool on the chain? And we do that through the VRF keys. So there's a couple of VRF keys. There's the V key, which is the public key. And that is actually stored on the chain with the stake pool registration certificate. It's not actually the key itself, it's a hash of the key. But we can use it to verify that the key the pool operator is providing is the same key. And then later we can ask them to sign something with the private key, the S key, and then we can use this public key to verify that they are the correct one or the correct person. And so let me just walk through this real quick. So essentially the pool operator, they send their pool ID and this V key to whoever the validating server is. In this case, it would be SPOCRA. Like, let's say you're going to do some voting system, so you do it with the SPOCRA voting system. And then the validating server validates that hash of the V key matches what's on the blockchain. So you take that V key they provide, you do a Blake2B hash of it, and then look at what's registered on the chain, and that should match. At that point, the validating server can create a challenge for the stake pool operator. Essentially, that's nothing more than a domain name. In the example, I said Pool Tool, and a random byte array of 64 characters. Usually, you send it to them as hex characters. And so then that challenge, they take it and they create this big long string of CIP-0022, the domain name, the random nonce, and then that's what they're signing with their private key. And then they send that back to the validating server within 5 minutes, and then the validating server validates that challenge. And if they succeed in that challenge, then we know that they're valid. And then there's a lot of other technical stuff here that's just running through some pseudocode of doing it. But the other thing is that it's also already been implemented inside CNCLI. So if you wanted to just script it on the server side and or the client side, you could do that. Here's the example of where CNCLI is generating a challenge, gives it a random nonce. And then you would store this challenge on the server side along with, their pool ID and their V key. So you could use it later. And then on the client side, the stake pool operator would take that with the nonce and their S key, and they would generate the signature and then send that to the server. And then the server would do a verify on that with the V key hash, the domain name, the nonce, and then also the signature. And if all of that stuff validates okay, the server then knows, yep, they're a legit pool operator. So that's kind of an overview of how that works. What are the thoughts on this?
Oh, I think this is a much needed tool in the Cardano ecosystem, and especially for SPOCRA. And I really like that how simple this is, and it's using keys that we already have, and this is perfect. So the back end seems really straightforward. I think it's just like the front end side of like for SPOCRA. I'm talking about how do we set up our validating server to do this? And hey, Adam, you were instrumental in our voting process that we had. Do you think we can build something off of what we did for, and I forgot the site name now, but it was like Crypto 2099 or something like that?
Yeah, vote.crypto2099.io, which is going to be changing to something like chainvote.io or something as part of the rebrand. But so yeah, this basically, what it does is it solves that the fact that we need a nonce for every voter in a vote. So essentially what this would allow us to do, or SPOCRA to do, is set up a website where you can authenticate using some kind of standardized OAuth formats like GitHub or Discord even, or whatever you're using. People could sign into the website, create an account, but then they can't do anything until they've claimed a pool, at least one pool, right? To validate I am a pool operator.
Yeah, Adam, can you share your? I can't get to my own website right now because I'm on a corporate machine.
The pool perks.
Can you run through the testnet pool perks?
Okay.
So you can kind of show that process, and that'll give everybody a better idea of how it works.
See if I can find which tab that's on. I'm the worst.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like when you pulled up your screen, Andrew, I was like, oh, I thought I was looking at my screen with all the tabs open.
Well, that's like
many
one
tabs
of
on multiple browser windows.
Yeah, I'm the same. That was only one browser window I was sharing.
Right.
All right, well, I'm just gonna open.
I think we got a little background noise too. I don't know. Are you watching SpongeBob in the background, Andrew, or is that Adam?
That's not me. I think that's Adam.
Oh, that's Criminal Minds, actually. So
Criminal Minds, that's a good show.
Okay, there it is. All right. So yeah, let me share here. Should I do that? I am not getting controls. Oh, there they are. Okay, window is just down at the bottom. Share screen. Do this guy over here. Okay, are you guys seeing that? Let me.
Yes, that's perfect.
Blow that up. All right, so yeah, this is pool perks. Our kind of work in progress admin dashboard. So like we're going to just log in with GitHub. I've already gone through the OAuth step, so this should automatically just log me in. And you can see I've already registered testnet Buffy there to be a claimed pool, basically. So I've already claimed this pool. So I can just go in here and say add a new pool, and then if I had my pool hex ID, I would provide it in here.
Yeah, you can just re-register the same one if you want to demo it.
Yeah, let me see where I stored those files at. And this is all using testnet data, so no live data in the video to worry about. Let's see, downloads. No.
So while you're looking for that, do you guys envision using another tool in the future, perhaps besides OAuth for authentication, or?
Well, you could do any authentication really that you need or want to, right? You know, it could be traditional email and password authentication, really, if you want.
Okay.
You know, OAuth just kind of simplifies everybody's life because most of us already have these accounts, whether they're Google or Twitter or GitHub or whatnot. So, all right, I'm just going to redo this. So let me log into my testnet instance here real quick and grab a key out of there. Oh, 2 minutes.
Oh, I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Essentially, what we're doing is we've separated the authentication piece from the authorization piece, which is, you know, you're authorized to manage something with this pool. So the first piece is just let you in the front door. And then the second piece is make sure you're authorized to do things with a given pool, or in the case of SPOCRA, you're allowed to vote as a real stake pool operator.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so, yeah, here's
VRF
where
key
he's,
here.
I'll let you talk, Adam.
Yeah, so I've put in the Buffy testnet pool ID. And so now I'm just grabbing the V key down, and I'm going to have to store a local copy of that because all of my servers are remote, so I don't have an actual desktop to them. But it's okay. This is Buffy.vrf testnet V key. So I'm just going to go and find this guy in my documents. Oh, saved as a text file, but that'll probably actually work. So let's see. There we go. And so then now it's giving me the CNCLI command that I can run. All I have to do is change out to run this command and put in my pools VRF key. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the instance right now. Okay, and then I got a signature back. So I'm going to just copy that from the command line, paste it in, and save. And voila, pool is validated. So we can actually do that. We'll do that with one of my other testnet pools here again, just to kind of show how quick and easy it can be. So spike.pool.id, grab a pool ID. I gotta copy my VRF key local. And pretty cool here too, we can actually, if we use that same Buffy testnet V key, we get an error just going, nope, that doesn't match the hash that's on the chain. So we already have some kind of built-in, it's fairly easy to do those built-in validation checks like that.
That was really fast too. So that's on the test net. Do you think it'll be that fast on the actual mainnet?
Yeah, it is that fast on mainnet because, well, what's behind this whole thing is Firehose, and Firehose is just watching the chain for new pool registrations, just saving off all this data in a database.
Gotcha.
Kind of like a DB Sync Lite. So it has all the information it needs for all these pools already.
That's awesome.
All right, so yeah, that should be Spike. So that should be my signature. So I got a new signature from the command line, and now I've got my 2 pools registered. And so doing it this way, basically what that would allow us to do, like with our voting before, is you could have a simple web app where one or more owners, operators can come in and claim their pool. And then from this interface, instead of adding a perk, I would be like generate a voter ID for, whichever ballots or votes SPOCRA has going on, or, do something else. And then that's going to kind of show and throw my weight behind my vote.
Mm-hmm. So for SPOCRA, I think all we have to do is, just put together our web app for how we want to do this then. And I'm hoping that we could utilize some of what we already were doing with the voting originally.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely easy because it becomes like self-service, right? All we have to really do is say, hey, all SPOs, for one, you should be a member of SPOCRA. If you're not, go and join. And if you are, then you get to participate in our vote. And it's like a self-service. So it's not us having to go around and be like, okay, here's your key, here's your key, here's your key. The individual user can actually go and request their own key. The only part of the voting app where that becomes problematic is that the voting app itself needs somebody's SPOCRA to submit the eligible voter IDs after the vote has actually occurred.
Okay.
So the way that works is basically you would then compile it and say, okay, here's a list from our database of everybody that requested an ID to vote. and then submit that after the voting window has closed as the governing body that's running votes. So that way, anybody that double voted or tried to just use a spoof ID, you could say, no, we're not counting those. Here's the actual IDs that were generated to our validated users.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, a lot of that, in terms of technical implementation is still left up to, whoever the governing body is, because the idea behind both this authentication method and then the on-chain voting is that we are decentralized in such that we're not really opinionated about what the hell you do with the information. That's on you.
That's right. So Andrew, CIP-0022, I saw that it's pretty much all passed. I don't know if it was merged yet. Do we have to wait until that actually gets merged?
No, so there's different types of SIPs, and there's this one will be a draft SIP for a while. There, if a SIP is going to change something like the ledger rules or requires IOHK to do something, then it's a much longer process. But anything that's just more of an informational or an outside of Cardano process improvement like this, you can start using it right away. There's no issue with you don't have to wait for something to be approved by any central authority. If it's useful, you can use it. And that's kind of where we're at with this SIP. It'll probably get merged in next week or the week after.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Is there anything else that we need to cover that, like for anyone else like that may watch this later or something that they want to use this as well? Any other piece of advice on how to get this going, or I think we covered everything, but
yeah, I think we covered everything. I do have a nerd out video that's out there about this SIP. If they want more details on it, they can do a deep dive on it. Other than that, I think we're good.
Yeah, it really is just a super simple, straightforward way to pretty much unquestionably say, yes, you own a stake pool.
yes.
Again, there might be further validation steps, like with somebody like SPOCRA to go, well, that's an expired stake pool, so that no longer counts, right? Or, things like that. But again, that implementation is up to whatever governing body is utilizing this as an authentication mechanism.
And then the only other piece I was thinking about, this is more of a problem that SPOCRA has to solve. How do we, and I don't know if this is part of this tool or not, but maybe we can do something off of this eventually. But for people that have multiple pools, like how do we use a tool like this to kind of say that, oh, okay, this person that's coming in, this operator, this owner, they're the person that is not, it's probably an Intel Prism solution, but so essentially, I mean, if somebody wanted to validate, they have 10 pools or something, would they have to run through this 10 times to validate each one of those pools, or how do you do something?
So you would definitely want them to claim each pool individually, like with pool perks. If you want Bloom number 6 to give pool perks, you're going to have to go through and claim that VRF key, just like you did pools Bloom 1 through 5, right? And so kind of in the same vein, SPOCRA, if you wanted for one to kind of keep tabs on the gross number of pools, more so over and above just, we have at least one stake pool that belongs to this person, but actually say, hey, look, we represent 800 of the 2,500 pools on the chain or whatever. You would ask everybody to individually register each of their pools if they're a multi-pool operator. But again, unfortunately, this isn't going to do anything about stopping you from, authenticating, spooling up fake accounts and registering your pool under potentially a fake account. If you were trying to circumvent rules that say 1 vote per operation versus 1 vote per pool sort of thing.
Right. But yeah, more to think about in the future for that kind of stuff. But this is incredible. I'm super stoked that you guys put this together, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to walk through it. And yeah, let's keep building.
Yeah, hopefully it's, it could be useful to SPOCRA and a lot of these other explorers and things like that, because it's so quick and easy to do. And if this ever gets published, see, here's proof that Andrew and I are not the same person, because we've been on the same call at the same time. So,
Well, you haven't shown your face on the video yet.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we don't know if you're,
the
You could
rumors of
be
me
me.
being a robot could still be a thing. So we'll see.
You're a robot that's controlled by Ben Gertzel.
That's what I've heard. So, but yeah, so I mean, that's really all there is to it. It is that easy and straightforward. So no reason not to do it. I would say it's definitely a heck of a lot easier than what we went through back in August and September. So.
Oh my God, yeah, that was a manual nightmare, but it was well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled it off. It just, let's use the automation and the tools that we have at our disposal where we can to make life easier for everybody. So
it just makes sense. Cool. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I think Andrew and I were gonna go finish packing, and we're both moving. So.
All right. Well, enjoy that and have a good weekend, even if it's just packing up boxes.
Definitely.
you guys.
Yeah. See ya.
Thanks.
Thank you.